Oh my
We are
God.
between two couch
Between
cushions
two couch cushions.
again.
Which way do we go? This
Oh,
way? That way?
this way.
We're
This
probably
way.
going the
This
wrong way.
God dang it. I can never get that
Ugh.
right.
Anyway, we're
Welcome.
turning to professionals.
Welcome back, dear friend. It has been a hot second since we have done Between Two Couch Cushions, and we are coming to you via Zoom instead of in person because COVID is really stinking high in our particular county right now. So we are playing it safe today, but we thought it's been long overdue since we chatted, and actually that's, of course, I created some questions and you did not. Of
course I created none.
Right. Why change up a formula that works? Why mess with perfection, right? Why mess with it?
Poor Danielle.
I love it. My first question to you is, what ya been up to the last 42 weeks? It has been since November since we recorded one of these Between Two Couch Cushions.
Been since
42 weeks is what Facebook tells me. It's been 42 weeks. Well, it's probably longer now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what have I been up to? Well, I have been writing, so that's a thing.
Yay!
I just finished my first draft. I hope that's not going into one of your other questions, but that's what I've been doing.
It may, but I honestly can't remember because I wrote them a week ago. So
okay, cool.
It's fine.
Wicked.
But this is the first draft of your companion novel to Waiting for Spring.
Waiting for Spring. Yes.
See, it's tricky.
It's tricky. Very tricky. There we go. Yes. Or I can just do this. I don't know. But yes. Yes, the companion. I would not call it a sequel because it's on different characters. One is like a brand new character, but I'm pretty excited. You're still going to be able to see some of your old favorites. So, but yeah. And of course, some people actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if it's been since November, may not know that I was diagnosed with cancer back in January. So a lot of my time has been spent with treatment and, resting and everything that, you do when you're undergoing chemotherapy and immunotherapy. But, doing well, hanging in there.
You're doing really well.
I'm actually, so it's the chemo has been working. I have stopped chemo, hence the wig though, because I did lose my hair and my eyelashes. I've got my fake eyelashes on today. But yeah, but it's having an effect. I'm still on immunotherapy. I'll be doing immunotherapy for quite a while, but the cancer cells are shrinking, which is exactly what we want them to do, those invading little fuckers. So but yeah, so that's been like my last 42 weeks.
Yeah, we had a legitimate reason to take a little hiatus. You needed to rest and focus on other things, and this would be here when you felt better, and you're feeling better enough to do this.
Yep, starting back to work soon and everything. So yeah,
modern medicine.
I love it. I love science. I love modern medicine. I love all the research. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it's been fabulous hearing your progress updates. If you're not aware, if you're not, then this would be news to you about this whole process. But those of us close to you have been following your journey.
Well, yes, I've been, what else can you do other than write about it, I suppose, is how I've been, coping.
Well, absolutely. It's a form of therapy. Why not?
It totally is. And I have to say, sadly, a few friends since my diagnosis and since I've been, posting about it on social media, have also been diagnosed with breast cancer. And so because I've been talking about it so openly, I think it makes it so people feel comfortable, coming to me with questions and and whatnot. So it makes me feel good. Okay, it's not just like this vanity thing. I'm putting this, shit out there, but it's been helpful to other people, which makes me feel good about that.
Yeah, I can only imagine that if somebody sees that and they can go, well, there's somebody that can actually talk to about all of these questions that I have, because I'm sure you had all of those same questions yourself, and we're searching for people you could connect with and ask questions of. So the fact that you can turn around and pay that sort of gift forward is wonderful.
And that's honestly how I look at it. You organized all these amazing people who would bring me food and sent me like care packages, and I can thank them. And I do thank them, but there's nothing I can do to repay that. So the best I can do really is to, try to pay it forward a little bit. So.
Yeah, well, it was my pleasure, because it meant that I had to sort of cook a few meals. So it forced me to learn how to do some things in the kitchen. So
I thought they were very delicious.
You were helping me grow up and be a strong, independent woman. So thank you.
Oh, well, look at us go. Just so weird to have like hair, and long hair. And
Right. And what do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Wig?
So first of all, thank you, Danielle. This was a gift from Danielle.
That's not what I meant, but what type of wig it was. That's more what I meant.
But also it is a Daenerys Targaryen wig from Game of Thrones. So I am the mother of motherfucking dragons. It's funny because it's been a hot summer. There's been a lot of humidity. So generally speaking, I've been just going around bald around the house. But every so often when I'm feeling not so powerful, I will put this on. I don't know if this is something I should be admitting in front of, tens of people. but it really does help. So,
Well, good. Placebo effects are still effects. So if it makes you feel better, then do it.
That's right.
As Sheryl Crow once said, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad.
I 100% agree.
I think that's the line.
Something like that.
It's been a while since I've heard that song. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question, because I think this one is just as important as the first one.
Okay.
What you drinking?
Oh my gosh. So, I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this. I'm drinking ice water.
I've got ice water too.
So, my cancer, it's breast cancer, but it has spread to my liver. Like I said, good news, everything is, starting to shrink and everything. But my thought being that I should probably not drown a liver that is, having a hard enough time as it is right now anyway.
Right.
With, too much of, my old friend alcohol. So I am drinking ice water. And you are drinking ice water.
I am. Not just because it's noon on, in the middle of a week or anything like that.
Never stopped us before.
That's never stopped us before. But I actually haven't had a glass of wine or an alcoholic drink for probably 42 weeks. It's
wow. Yeah.
It's maybe even longer than that. And that has been just a sort of a health reason in terms of trying to reduce calorie intake and trying to get my cholesterol level down to a place where my doctor is happy. And so at first it was really, really hard, and it was really difficult because I realized that I leaned on wine to help me get to sleep. It made me sleepy and it helped wind me down. But then I discovered melatonin does the same thing.
Nice.
So now I have that and I don't miss it. And now I'm not having all of those calories swimming in my belly and all of the munchies that you get when you have a glass of alcohol or two. You get a little hungry. And so, I have wine in my house. So should I need to celebrate something or I want to have a glass of something, I can, but it's not my go-to anymore. It's now ice water.
Look at us. Oh my gosh.
Or
I don't know if I'm proud of us or what.
Tea. I have tea. Oh, and the British would have a fit. I let that steep way too long. I was supposed to remove that bag minutes ago. And
I won't tell anyone British.
I have oversteeped my peppermint tea.
Oh, wow.
I'm appalled at myself.
I am totally appalled too.
I was distracted.
It's my fault.
It's all right.
It's the hair.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Exactly what it was. All right. So the next question I have for you, it's not a what you question. I suppose I could try to form it in that way, but it looks like via this Zoom screen as one example, it looks like that we're going to be dealing with probably another year of this COVID uncertainty, high numbers, low numbers, watching the screen, Is it safe to go back to work? Is it safe to go into schools? What is your mental state right now, especially with, having to deal with all your treatments and things like that? Right. And your immune system is really fragile right now. And how are you dealing with that?
I think okay. Oddly enough, when I was feeling at my worst, it was easier to deal with everything else that comes from just being in not a lockdown, but kind of, a lockdown. Because not only is it just COVID, but for me, because my immune system is so bad, even if there was no COVID, I would be wearing a mask out in public because catching a cold could be really disastrous for me. Right. And for example, and right now with honestly, hospital beds filling up with COVID patients in this area, which it totally is, I can't afford to get sick at all. So, but like when I was feeling worse because, from the chemo, it was easier because I didn't have any energy to care. If I was stuck at the house,
Valid
or if I was,
point. Yeah.
But, since I've been feeling better and I am an extrovert, as you know, it has been really hard. Like I love my husband and I love my cats, but that's all I see all the time, So yeah.
And even when you go back to work, you're going to be working from home, right?
It is. I'm going to be virtual. Yeah. Exactly. So, which will be nice because at least I'll have that. Right. Because like, even this is awesome. Just like, oh, I'm talking to Danielle again, but I'll tell you, like there's been a couple times I've gone out. Like I went to the theater, my husband and I, a couple times at the local theater, and it was awesome. Just, being able to see the plays, it was really good. But just being out in public and seeing other human beings that I know, and even those I don't know, it just was nice.
Yeah. I miss it. But, and I'm an introvert, so peopling is not something that I enjoy. But yeah, I've gone out and done a few things. There's a few things I haven't done yet. Like I haven't eaten inside of a restaurant yet. Right. That still feels, because I'm immune compromised too. So it just feels
right.
That feels, I can do like an outdoor dining, I suppose, but I haven't done like an indoor dining yet. But I'm still masking in public places and stuff like that, even though we're all vaccinated, because again, the immune system is not the best. And so just trying to take some extra steps as best we can. My kids are actually going to school this year instead of being online. So that's that's a scary chapter because the numbers are so high in our county. I'm like, okay, we're going to be bringing that home, aren't we? Here we go. I mean, they have to be masked, but with that many bodies and that long of a time period, it sort of feels like it's bound to happen.
Right. Oh,
so
man.
We're just hoping that all of our vaccines are strong enough to keep us going.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, go get those boosters when they're available.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. I got the ugly stepchild vaccine. I got the J&J one, the one that nobody really talks about, and the one that's like, kind of left out in all of the, research. What about the J&J vaccine? What's going on with that? But no, they're actually finally starting to talk about boosters for that. And
good.
So come on, man. Let's go.
I got Moderna. Is that the popular kid one? I don't even know.
I think the Pfizer's the popular kid one, but the J&J is the one nobody apparently knows anything about. We'll see how it goes.
God. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I've been coping. It's been more of the like there's some sense of normalcy because now I can do some things. I mean, I did a play, Unmasked, which was very, very bizarre. But then, I helped do makeup for another show when the numbers were starting to creep right back up again. And I'm like, ooh, this feels unsafe again. And, so it was, I don't like it. So I deliberately didn't audition for anything for the fall just because it feels too uncertain.
Yeah.
To really know what's going on. So
yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Yes.
What you watching?
What am I watching? So, I never watch anything new anymore.
I know.
So
I know.
I'm kind of, man, but Dan and I started watching The Closer again, which is on, I don't remember which of my many streaming apps, but
there's a lot to keep track of.
It's too many, but Kira Sedgwick, so we've been rewatching that, which is really good. She is a strong, independent woman. That seems to be our theme today, so I thought I'd throw that in there. No, she is a chief deputy in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles Police Department, and it's really good. We watched it when it was on TV, like however many years ago, but I don't know, we've been enjoying it. I really enjoy like police procedural mystery type of things, and I don't know, it's really cool. How about you?
I am ashamed to admit I've been watching a lot of YouTube reaction videos. I just love watching people react to things that I've seen and loved, and watching them experience the thing that I loved for the first time and seeing their excitement or their joy or their surprise or hearing their laughter at something. It's almost like being able to watch it for the first time again, because you're able to like really watch somebody watch something for the first time. Like when you have somebody over and they're watching a movie for the first time, you're looking at them the whole time going, what are you gonna. So it's kind of like it's like a dopamine, kick every day. I'm like, I love it. Who's reacted to what today? And it's really kind of silly.
Which shows or movies are you watching them react to?
Literally anything that I've loved as a movie. If anybody's watching the Marvel movies, if anybody's going through the whole cycle for the first time, I am down for that. I have followed you. I have subscribed. I want to see every reaction that you have. So I've got lots of those. Music videos, if there are music videos that I really love or artists that I really love, I love watching people react to it and things like that. So
have you heard of those twins? They're teenage boys. I want to say they're out of Maryland, and they have a YouTube channel. I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called, but it's them reacting to like older songs.
I think maybe I have. I think I have seen them.
They're so uber positive and so awesome. I love those guys. I wish I could remember what they're called, but that's a good channel if you like reaction videos.
I do. I'm like, even like movie trailers, if it's a movie that I'm really excited about, or I really it's a problem. So I'm watching that more than I'm watching services that I've paid for.
Nothing wrong with that. And what this shows is you're officially a nerd now, Danielle. Like, it's official.
I think I've always been a nerd. I don't know if there's ever been a time where I've not been a nerd.
This whole Marvel obsession of yours has really taken it into a whole new, oh my God. I love it.
What's been great about it is that I've been able to it's kicked back in again, my sort of Marvel obsession, because I was able to introduce my daughter to the Marvel universe, because I was able to watch the movies as they came out with either my husband at the time, now my ex, or my son. So when the movies came out, I would always have somebody to go to the movies with. My daughter wanted nothing to do with them. She had no desire. Yeah. And it was only when the Black Widow movie was being talked about being released, and a lot of her friends wanted to go see it. She was like, do I need to see all of the other movies for this one to make sense? And I'm like, probably. You'll probably be able to enjoy it, but you'll miss the references and the jokes and the things. I mean, I'm sure it'll make sense. They all make sense as a movie, but you won't understand who certain characters are and what the dynamics are. And so Yeah. So she's like, well, maybe I'll just watch one and see if I like them. I'm like, well, you can't just watch any one. If you're gonna watch one, I will pick one for you to watch, and then you can decide if you like it from there. So we started her with Avengers, and
nice. That's a good
she
one.
loved it. She was surprised that she loved it. And we started a movie marathon where every day that she was with me, we watched a different one, and
nice.
It was great. It was great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So she was surprised that she enjoyed them because she just assumed they were one thing and they're really not what she thought they were going to be. So it's been fun discovering that with her. So now we're both obsessed, and it's great. It's great.
Nice.
I've passed it on.
Man, I'm so proud of you, because I'll tell you, I mean, my kids are out of the house now. I used to be able to force them to watch what I wanted them to watch, and I was able to turn them into Doctor Who fans. But ever since they've left the house, like, none of them have seen Hamilton yet. I know, my kids, musical theater. And
wow, that just I'm just surprised, just because of pop culture, how important that is in so much pop culture, that they are missing the boat on just understanding the pop culture references.
Thank you.
That's surprising to me that they haven't done that. Shame on them.
Thank you. That's what I say.
Shame.
That's, God damn it, you're right. I'm gonna give them each the shame gift when in a text message. But anyway.
I just that's mind-blowing to me. That is well, to be fair, my daughter went into her whole thing with the mindset of not liking it. Mm-hmm. She was like, I will humor my mother because she won't stop bugging me about it. And it was only after she was reluctantly like, okay, I suppose we can watch the rest.
That's how a lot of nerds become nerds, reluctant nerds.
Right. You take the first hit is free.
I'll watch it just so you shut up. Those are famous last words. Really.
Yes. I love it. Next question is, what you reading?
Okay. This is embarrassing. I am reading my own book.
That's not embarrassing.
Because
we forget this stuff. I bet you forgot a lot, didn't you?
Yeah. All these things. It's like, ages of characters, and would this work? And didn't we have something similar in the old book? And it's just
what was their last name again? And what color
Did I
eyes?
give that character a last name? Did they interact in the, does it matter if they did? I don't know. But so
did this scene really play out, or was it only in my head?
Was it something I cut? Because that's a thing.
Yeah.
Happens.
Oh yeah. So, anytime that there's like a sequel or a prequel, anything, I have to go back and reread and take notes on the thing that I wrote. I'm like, you would think I would remember it. No.
And can I just tell you, reading your own stuff is mortifying. It's just it's the worst. So
and knowing that you can't change it.
I know.
I mean, that's what it is. It's like, it's already.
I finally understand George Lucas and why he wanted to go back and mess with his movies. I get it. I wish I could put out a special edition.
Well, you couldn't you? Well, could. You're with a publisher, so you couldn't.
Yeah. Right? Also, it's so much work. I mean,
it really, 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 really is.
So anyway, but that's
at some point you have to let the babies grow up.
Yes.
And they have to go out and they have to do their own thing and
you are what you are. I love you for what you are.
That's right. That's right. You represented me then. Yes. Not me now.
That's right. Very different now.
I'm reading, speaking of sequels and things, I'm reading the third book in the You series, You Love Me. So it's a stalker, serial killer.
Right?
Huh?
The creepy stalker?
Yeah.
Nice.
Good old Joe is back to his old tricks. So I'm curious to see who he kills in this one. Because he's gonna kill somebody. It's just a matter of time. But it's just just an interesting way. I didn't really care for the second book. I don't know why. The second book it felt a little forced, and it felt it didn't feel as good as the first one. And maybe it was the second book slump. You know how that's a thing. But this third one is it's picking up the same sort of like first book vibe. So I'm into it. So
yeah, I read the first one. I think I borrowed it from you. I borrowed it from someone.
You might have.
It was you.
You might have.
But I have not read the second or third. I did not know there was a second or third. So
the third one just came out over the summer. So the second one is called Hidden Bodies. So it doesn't even follow that it should have been like you, then you love me. It's really what it should have been. But they didn't ask me when they were naming their titles.
They should have.
They really should have. Next up for a question for you is what you listening to? I have stumped you, or you're too embarrassed to tell me.
So I've been listening to podcasts.
Nothing wrong with podcasts.
No. But okay, so oh my gosh. So a little while ago, I got the Discovery Plus app.
Okay.
And that came with like TLC, all those reality shows. So I binge watched Sister Wives, all 15 seasons, okay? Which I did not tell you in the What You Watching because I thought it wasn't a lie because I finished watching it.
Right.
But there is a funny podcast on called Surviving Sister Wives. So it's a podcast where they're watching the show and then recapping it. And it is really hilarious. But the guilt you saw on my face, which I'm not an actress, I couldn't even hide, then I had to go tell you the whole story. So anyway, that's what I've been listening to. And
there's no shame in guilty pleasure stuff.
Oh my gosh. It's
zero shame.
I hate watched it. Like, although I have to say, like, I actually do like some of the Sister Wives. Like, they seem like really nice people. But anyway, but no, me yelling at the screen was a thing. And Dan's like, why are you watching that? I'm like, I can't stop. But anyway, so I've been listening to that podcast, which makes me feel a little bit better about having watched the entire, again, 15 seasons in like 2 weeks, maybe. I mean, it was like not a very long time.
Well, to be fair, there was a big stretch of time where literally all you could really have the energy for was to sit and watch things. So why not watch something that was going to keep you entertained?
That's
no shame in that.
No shame in that.
No shame in that at all.
No shame in that.
I'm not listening to any podcasts. I mean, that would be the adult and mature thing to be listening to. I'm part of a podcast. Does that count?
It totally does. I really love your podcast.
Yeah, it's a podcast that I'm doing with 4 other indie writers, and we write
to it.
We write all. Yes, we are on Spotify of all things. It's called Bound by Books. Yep. And it's just 5 authors that write in completely different genres. And each week we have 2 hosts. We take turns hosting. We figured 5 voices at once would be overwhelming, especially in sound. That would be just too many voices. So we are just rotating a schedule of 2 of us at a whack, talking about, books that we love and tropes we love and just books in general. So we broadcast every Monday at noon Eastern time. Yep. We have a website. We have, we're on the SoundCloud. We're on the iTunes. We're on all the places, on the Spotify and all that stuff. So I do listen to that podcast. So I guess that is something that I'm listening to. But otherwise it's the normal, Shawn Mendes, Harry Styles, Taylor Swift, my go-to sort of comfort music is what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
I'm very basic.
It's okay.
I don't have a wide variety of musical tastes. I am that woman.
I don't have a current, repertoire of music, if that counts for.
Well, you've listened to Taylor Swift's newest stuff.
I do like Taylor Swift's new stuff, yes. So, and there's certain, things that come out. I'm like, oh yes, I enjoy that song, but like I hardly ever know who's singing it.
Right. So. Well, My daughter's now testing me on things too, and I'm failing miserably. I'm like, oh, I've reached that stage. I no longer know who is on the radio. But to be fair, people who are on the radio lately suck.
It's bad.
They just do. There's what happened to songwriting? The lyrics and some of these songs are like, really? This is a song?
I know it.
This noise.
I've been mostly listening to 60s and 70s stuff lately when I'm listening to music. So yeah.
I have reached that age.
Me too.
Where I'm sorry. Looking for the classics.
You know what's sad is when songs you listen to as a teenager are on the oldies station, which has already started happening to me.
Yeah.
And it's not okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We're there. We're at that stage. So we're going to move on to the next question because this one was depressing.
Very depressing.
And this, you've sort of answered this, but I don't know if you want to delve a little deeper into this or talk about the other project that you were dabbling with for a while. Oh, what you writing?
Well, again, I am writing the companion to Waiting for Spring, and there it is.
There it is.
No, I'm cool talking about it. It's for those of you who have read Waiting for Spring, it takes place in the same town. Yeah, Danielle has read it. She was one of my early readers, actually, now that I think about it. But it takes place in the same town, but it has a new protagonist whose name has changed so many times that I'm not even going to say it out loud because it might change again.
Absolutely.
I think I changed it back to the original one. So anyway, but she lives in the same town of New Mills, and it's basically, she's dealing with empty nest syndrome. Gee, I wonder, where I might have gotten that inspiration from. But I think what I've been enjoying about writing it is exploring like just parenthood in general, like different types of family structures and how it oh my gosh, anyway, how the impact that has, and there's a little bit of Brian and Tess in the book, and actually Brian's dad is a fairly major character in this book, so I'm having a lot of fun exploring that like that character from a closer examination has just been a lot of fun. So that was a really rambling way to say that I'm having fun writing.
Well, I'm thrilled that you've finished that first draft, because I know that that's been a milestone for you to reach that, and I hope you've celebrated that and have lifted that up. And
yes, I have. Thank you.
Yeah, because that's a big deal. It's a
very big deal. No, I'm really excited about it, and I'm actually looking forward to draft 2, which I know is the one you hate the most.
I do, but you love it the most. So I do. You're about to dive into the best part.
Yes.
So that's exciting.
Yeah. Pretty exciting. But how about you, lady? You've got a lot of stuff you've been working on.
I've got a lot of stuff that I've been working on. Next month is September. Right? Yes. I had to think about where we are. Actually, where are we in the calendar? And so that will mark the 10th anniversary of my very first novel, Pulled, that just got a cover remake. And to celebrate that 10th anniversary, I did a hardcover version of that. It's my first hardcover book ever.
Nice.
I really like the hardcover.
I love it. I have it.
I like that. So I put that out. I did a very limited print run for that. And I have a few copies of it left for if somebody was like, oh my God, I need a new one. I have a couple of them, not a lot. Because I wanted to do something very exclusive, very limited, very like collector's edition-y sort of thing. So I'm not gonna reprint those. I'm not gonna, resell those or anything like that. It's just, it was sort of a one and done sort of special treat thing. And then also in September on the 7th, Girl on Fire, which I finally got that paperback for.
I am so excited.
That is going to go up from City Owl Press. That's that's the book Enigma that they picked up and recovered and rebranded and put that together. So that will be happening in September. And then I have a book coming out hopefully in November that I've been working on with main playwright Randy Hunt.
Oh, yes.
I wrote a novel about an actress who was performing a play, and they're sort of rehearsing a play. And so the story involves around sort of the rehearsal process of a play. And I needed a play for them to rehearse. And I could have picked something that was, public domain, but I thought it might be funner if there was something original. And so I had a friend who was a playwright and said, hey, you got any full-length plays that you would mind me using in my story? And he says, I don't, but I wouldn't mind writing one. And so he wrote one. He asked me sort of, what did my story need? How many actors did I need? That sort of thing. And what would be helpful for your story? So we sort of collaborated on like, I need this to happen. I need there to be a couple that might seem romantic in some way. And so there were certain things that I had. And so it's been a fun process to sort of
so cool.
Completely two different storylines that exist on their own and are not connected in any way, but yet are connected. Yeah. So it's been a fun process. So that goes to the editor in October.
Wow, I really can't wait to read that one.
As long as the editor doesn't come back and go, this is crap, we're planning for a November release. Nice. But it's always a question mark until it comes back from the editor. There's some indie authors that will just set a release date and that's it. And it's set in stone, regardless of anything. But I tend to need the copy back from the editor before I decide, okay, we're good to go. Or does this need more time? Or is it just not worth it? So I'm a wait, but I'm hoping I'm at the point of it now. I'm doing my final personal edits of it right now. And I'm at the point where I absolutely hate every single word. So I know that it's ready to go see an editor because it's going to see the recycle bin if it doesn't.
Right. That is the telltale sign. Telltale sign.
Yes. That's the moment that, it's time to let that one go.
So is there a possibility that the play will be produced, or did he write it strictly for
No, I think he would very much like to have it produced. He's actually had several readings of it. He's had a lot of actors read it, and I've been there sort of at these virtual readings. And he's been workshopping it, trying to make it stronger. And so, I'm working off of his draft 5 or 6, I can't remember now, of the manuscript, because it's come a long way too. And he's starting to see, because up until this point, he's only done 10-minute plays, which don't necessarily need a lot of revision. And if it does, it doesn't take a long time because it's, not that long.
So short. Yeah.
But he's now starting to see sort of what authors go through in terms of, this is hard. Yeah, it's annoying, and it's difficult, and so So I've been sort of helping him with his manuscript, trying to questioning certain things here or there, trying to flesh out certain character things here, and he's been doing the same with me for the novel. So it's been this nice little give and take. So
well, you should totally try out for the play, when it's produced. I think that would be, speaking of meta.
Right. And it's funny because Randy actually makes an appearance as himself in my novel. Nice. I have him in the novel as the playwright. That is
so cool.
So I'm like, I'm gonna totally stick you in there. Is that cool? And so
I love it.
It's like this very meta thing. So
Does this project have a name that you can say, or are we not speaking the name?
Well, no, we can say the name because the cat was sort of let out of the bag inadvertently by Randy. He didn't realize that I don't like to say the titles or anything until I've gotten the cover and gotten, it feels like one of those things that you might jinx yourself, or you might decide you're going to change it. But it's going to be called Waiting in the Wings.
I love it.
Yeah. So, nice. And so this will be part of a series of books, hopefully. The Red Curtain theater series. So they're all going to have something to do with this one theater company. They're going to be attached to this one theater company in one way, shape, or form. They'll all be standalones, but that theater house will play into.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's in theory how that's going to work. I've already got the second of that series in third draft form. But
wow.
I'm struggling deeply with that one because the first book in the series, the heat level is not, it's not highly hot. It's just you could probably consider it a sweet romance. There's, some kissing, but there's nothing like, but the second book, the second book went a completely different direction. So either I have to tame the heat level of that second book or find a way to put in some steam into a story that really doesn't need it.
Right.
But it kind of needs it in the second book.
Go where the story and the characters take you.
But if it's a series, they should, in theory, be the same heat level, right? They should.
I am the wrong person to ask because my theory. It's like write what you fucking want, and I think for the most part you have. I mean, I could be. No, I'm not. I will stand by this. You have readers who follow you from genre to genre. So I do. I think that.
But I think I also shoot myself in the foot a little bit that way because my poor readers have no idea what's coming next. They don't know if they're getting a sweet little young adult book or if they're getting a hot and heavy.
Right.
So I probably should pick a lane and stay there. But I like all the lanes.
Here's the thing. I'm not a huge marketing person. I should probably figure that out. But I have two reasons for me still saying write what you feel. Reason number one is I really feel like there are some readers I'm only going to read romance, or I'm only going to read sci-fi, or I'm only going to whatever.
Yeah.
There are those readers. I don't think the majority of readers are like that. I think the majority of readers are like, here's an author, or here's a story I like. I'm gonna read that one. Oh, here's another one. I'm gonna read that one too, even if it's completely different. I think that most readers are just looking for a well-told story. And I'm sure that like there are people who will say, I'll never read horror because it freaks me out, right? Or I'll never read romance because whatever. But I feel like even those readers are fewer and farther between now, just because, the people are exposed to so many different genres already, and mixed genres in movies, television, whatever. And I think that books are kind of like the last stand where genre is so very important. So I personally think it's awesome that you write exactly, to me, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. The story and the characters are telling me this is how hot this story needs to be, and you're going there, I mean, that's for what it's worth. That's
and all of the marketing advice disagrees, which is frustrating because I want to be able to just write whatever I want to write.
Right. Oh, and the other reason, because I said two reasons, but then I only said one reason. Life is short, so write what you fucking want.
Yeah. 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 So far I am.
Good.
So far I am. And
good.
My next release, I'm also working on another young adult. I mean, even though my first young adult didn't sell so hot, I have more story to tell. And I'm writing it. And
the other thing about books
be what it'll be.
There, like a book you wrote 10 years ago, it's still there. A book you're reading right now is still going to be here 20 years from now. So whether you're finding an audience right now or not, which I mean, I know you have a small but very, very, very loyal following, but to me it seems like it's growing each time you're releasing a new book. People are talking about it, and especially with it used to be Enigma, now Girl on Fire, which was always been my favorite of yours. I don't know, I think you are on the precipice of big things, and I think that yes, marketing research, obviously it's being done by people who know a hell of a lot more about the publishing industry and marketing trends than I do. But I also think that that type of research seems to be just too narrow. And I think the publishing industry is a little bit too stick in the muddish about things like that. And if they, quote unquote, allowed their authors to do whatever the fuck they want to do and write good stuff, you know, the way that, you know, we're in the golden age of television, and it's because the networks don't have as much control. And, you know, these little apps, these little channels, these little production companies are being allowed to make these really cool shows that defy genre, that defy expectations.
Yeah, they don't fit in the neat little boxes anymore.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So that's, I don't know. I really think, you know, anyway, you
screw the lane is what you're saying.
Fuck the lane. Fuck the lane. Just, you know, because you've got like a huge stash of awesome books. And I mean, I'm not typically a romance reader, right? And I really love your stuff that is considered romance, you know? So you're just a good writer, and you've taken someone like me who is not normally, you know, reading that stuff, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. So you're
thank you. What I write may not even technically be romance. I don't know. I don't know if there's another category that it should be in. Maybe I'm writing something else all along and I don't know, but there's a love story, so I call it romance.
That's right.
And
you know what? You're creating your own genre. It's the Bannister. I was going to try to think of something that also started with B and
creating my own lane.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, well, we're probably about out of time here for our broadcast. I did want to mention to people that I am trying desperately to get you to watch the Marvel movies with me. I'm really trying to make that a thing. Yes. Because you have not seen 90% of them, right?
Correct. I've seen Iron Man. We saw the Avengers like when they first came out like a million years ago, and I'll be damned if I can remember much about it.
Right.
And then I watched Black Panther, which was really, really good.
Yes.
That was as good as a standalone, just awesome movie.
Yes. So, yes. And that one really does sort of stand alone on itself. It's okay. There's some small things that carry through to the movies, but that one is very much can stand on its own with very little help from anything else. So
I haven't even seen Ant-Man, and that's got our man in it. I know.
There's 2 of them too.
I know.
Wow. Okay. So that needs to be a thing that happens. Yes. I really think that if I can figure out how to do reaction videos of that with you, I would love for that to be a thing.
We should totally do that.
I don't really know quite how to do that. I know there are things you have to do, and it's a process. But
I'll Google it. We'll see if we can figure it out.
Oh man, would it be fun to watch you?
That would be so funny.
Reacting to these movies. Especially the Ant-Man ones.
Especially the Ant-Man with our man, Paul Rudd.
All right. So hopefully we'll be able to start doing these broadcasts again, either virtually, depending on what levels are, or in person again. Wouldn't that be fun to do that?
That would be rad. Like an actual live, we're in the same room.
Right. That would be fun. That would be fun. And being able to interact with the live comments and stuff again.
Yes, I do miss that a lot.
I miss that
a lot.
But we're making do, as many people are right now. We're making do. So until next time, this has been Between Two